Yo, 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 yo. What's going on?
Yo, what's going on, Gil? How you doing over there, dog?
Hey, I am doing good, man. I'm glad you. Well, I hope you're doing good. I'm about to say I'm glad you're doing good, but shoot, I don't even
Hey,
know.
God is good, brother. God is good.
Hey, you already know what happens when you text me that. So, nah, but hey, man, we want to welcome you guys back to another week of Let's Talk About It. We're super excited about this episode. You saw that? Oh no, you didn't see that. All right, whatever. But I was just like, the main thing we got to pay the bills first. So shout out to Chulaware. Make sure you go grab your shorts, your trunks, your bodysuits, your robes, your whatever you need. Go over to chulaware.com. Use those codes eShell10 or Carolina Muscle to make sure you get what you need. But we leave anything out? I know you we shouted out, or let's shout out Arizona Scorcher.
Yep.
They had a great show this past weekend. Such an amazing show. I always say that they have one of the best stages. Um, it's definitely top five stages that I've seen through a live stream. I actually competed on that stage as well, but a top five stage in regards to don't mind the dog in the back, but top five stage where athletes can compete on and is very visually pleasing through a live stream. So, what is your thoughts on Arizona?
I did it last year, and overall, it was a great show. The thing that got me was the time change because I was already like what 5 shows in. I think at that point, 4 or 5 shows in, so my body was already tired. And going to Arizona with the time change, that completely messed me up. But overall, Yvette runs a great show, and you never know. I may be back here, next year, the year after that, and get me another jacket and a ring, brother. So yeah, that show is definitely a good show to go to for sure.
Yeah, and shout out to all the winners out there. I think they had Pro Figure, Pro Men's Physique, Pro Classic, Pro Wellness, and I think Pro Bikini, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn,
Yeah,
she got all the pro classes in pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
shout out to all the winners of those classes. Maybe we do a full recap on that. We will see. But shout out to Yvette for putting
We
on a
need to
great
get her
show.
on. We,
Yeah,
we, we need to get Yvette on the episode.
Yvette, we know you watch. You told us you watch. So make sure we get you on before those next West Coast shows. So we coming. We gonna come get you. But without further ado, we definitely want to not take up too much of this guy's time. But we have a champion. I'm pretty sure he's
Busy
gonna make the
man.
joke. I'm pretty sure he's gonna make the joke that we waited this long to have him on, but he's on here today. But we have a champion. He just won Florida Pro. He's a consistent top three placer, consistent class winning placer. Great guy, full of energy. But let's go ahead and bring him. Y'all seen the title. Let's go ahead and bring Roy to the stage. What's going on, Roy?
What's up, boys? What's going on?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm feeling good. You can waste all. I got all the time in the world for you, boys. So let's do this.
Hey, I'm glad you found us cool enough to want to sit down with us and have a conversation, man.
Right.
But man, we're gonna dive straight into the questions because I think we probably have a few for you. Um
Okay.
like I said, the one thing I want to talk about first is I think I met you last year at Presidential, and like I said, it was one of those things where I seen you. I think we didn't exchange any type of messages before that, but I seen you and I was just unsure about. I was like, why is this guy looking over here? Do I have beef? Because sometimes, like I said, I inherit beef from other people, i.e., like Jamal. And I thought it was one of those type things, I thought we had beef or something. So I'm looking up, looking back down, looking up, looking back down. But then once we actually finally met backstage, it was such a dope experience just because you had this certain energy about you from like where a person could, even if you had a problem with you can't have a problem with you just because of the energy you give off. But what was your thought process going into the presidential? Because that is a really big show, especially for your first. That was your pro debut, right?
Yeah. Uh, that's a great question because I didn't know that it was going to be as big as it was. I just thought, oh, I won Conqueror. I'll do the next local show, not knowing that the presidential was like a landmark show where all the top guys come to show out. So I get there, and you coach Chris, a good friend of mine. He goes to my gym, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my coach is gonna be there. He's a York winner, and all these other York winners are gonna be there." I'm like, "Huh? Who? Huh? What's going on?" So when I saw you backstage, I'm kind of like in this like hopscotch mode where like I want to say hi and introduce myself. I want to talk to my boy Chris, but Chris is trying to like follow your lead, and like we're all trying to get get ourselves ready to go on stage. So it was awkward on my part because I'm an awkward dude. So that's all on me. But like you said, once we talked and everything, like it was cool. We got a great picture together. It's all love.
All right, so I do have something to tell you before. Like this is the fun stuff that we get to have online, conversations we get to have online. So we found out in these years of competing, and Jamal know probably where this is about to go. But we found out in this age of bodybuilding, that when people want a certain person to hear a message, they know who to tell.
Oh,
So
really? Okay.
there was a
I
person
know where this is going. Okay.
so let's get it out there. So
Yes, let's do it.
so there was a person who happened to message Jamal and said, "Hey, your boy better watch out for this guy," or something along the lines of that message. Jamal may still have the message. And we know that it's usually not the sender that sends that message, usually isn't coming from the competitor. But he kind of put a target on your back going into that show.
So let me tell you the other side of that. So it's like the week after the presidential. I'm training, I'm talking with Chris, and Chris tells me this guy says that. I go, what? I had no idea any of this happened. I beelined it to. I had to chew him out. I was like, dude, why in the world would you do that? Like, that's not me. That's not my personality at all. That's not my approach. That's not it has anything to do with me. Don't ever do that again. And Chris was like, he was trying to tell you, he was like, oh no, Roy's like the chillest dude ever. Like Roy said that. Roy has nothing to do with any of that. So I was like, I was so blown that he would say something like that. Like, don't put my name out there like that because like you're discrediting me. I spend a lot of time trying to be a lovable dork. So don't mix that up with some, trying to be big and bad. Like do that on your own. Do that when you compete. All right. Save that. Okay. That's not me.
Yeah, that was something we never told you, but that was a good one.
No, no. I was so pissed. That almost ruined my lift. I was so mad that day.
Well, thanks, Eric. Now nobody's never going to talk junk about you to me again. Appreciate that, guy.
I mean, I think this is the second time it happened, so I just had to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I think the first one won me a Yorton, though.
Oh man, yeah. All right, Roy. So for the people that
Yes.
just hopped on the Roy train, which I didn't know this. So I thought you got your pro card last year for the OCB last year at the Conqueror. But if we go back a few years, you competed in the OCB before.
Yes, sir.
So take us back there when you obviously competed. You had your pro card at one point in time, and you ventured off, and then you came back to the OCB. So I guess my main question is, why did you come back to the OCB after attaining your IFBB pro card?
Okay. So I didn't know the OCB existed at first. I thought there just was like, NPC, essentially Road to Arnold, right? Like, there's just bodybuilding. So, I'm competing in NPC and an OCB competitor, a female competitor, she lives in Arizona. She said, "Hey, you would do phenomenal in the OCB." And I was like, I don't know there's other organizations at this point in time. So she puts me on, and then I find the closest show that's next to me, which ended up being their predecessor to this show. It was called the Riptide at the time. Same time of the year, it was around February. I did that, won my pro card there. Then a couple months later, I did my pro debut at the Super Show in Virginia. The only person that I know that's still around is a guy named Joe. He was men's physique when we competed, and now he's classic. He just hosted the Mr. America of last year, if that helps anybody who follows our circles. He's a great guy,
Oh,
father,
Joe
all that.
Lacera.
Say again?
Joe Lacera.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. White guy, blonde hair, pretty boy. Yeah. So I did that with him. I placed fifth, but I still had this yearning to get the IFBB Pro card, especially as a lifetime natural. It's like you got that chip on your shoulder that want to prove everyone's constantly telling me to get on gear. Everyone's constantly telling me you can't do it naturally. Yeah, you might be able to win a local show, but that doesn't mean anything when you go to the nationals. It's a different level, and it's a different ball game, but you'll never do it. So I had to prove them all wrong and do it. And once I did it, that was really all I wanted to accomplish because I don't want to get on gear. And I know they have natural shows, but all those natural roads lead to the same Olympia with everyone else on gear. So what are you paying for? A jacket to say you went to Olympia and you were, bottom 20 of, 15 other guys. That it was enough for me to say that I was able to obtain something that some guys on gear spend their whole careers trying to achieve and never do it. So that was enough for me. And if I'm being brutally honest, I remember the atmosphere of OCB being much warmer and more welcoming, where like NPC shows, I don't want to talk down about anybody, but you're like a number. It's like you're an assembly line, and it's like you're up, chain, get off stage, you got 2 seconds, get off, it was enough, we saw you, you're on and off, you can't express yourself. you know I just didn't. It's a different beast, and if you've never experienced it, it moves a lot faster. And OCB, even though they run a well-oiled machine, there's a sense of family. And, the promoters know who you are, and the tanning people, and all the coordinators helping, and everyone knows who everyone is. And even though we're all competing, we're all together. And I like that a lot.
All right, just a follow-up question. Because you stated something earlier when you was talking about the NPC, and you said all roads lead to that one thing, which is the Olympia, and that's where some naturals thrive to go. Like they don't care if they place 50 out of 50; they just want to say that they went to the Olympia. And in a way, I feel the same way about when people go to the Jordan or when people go to WNBF Worlds. Like they don't care what they place; they just want to step on that stage. So you've been around for a long time. Do you feel like the competitive edge of competing is like leaving bodybuilding because everybody has their own why, their own reason of why they want to compete?
To a certain degree, yes, because I think for some people, the the pro status isn't an elevation of competition. It's a symbol of, like, it's like a degree. It's like now I can coach everybody. I can train everybody. It's like, bro, like you people that just go to a show and place, think, talking the next day, like, sign up for my coaching. I'm like, I know dudes like this. You like, I've competed against them. You didn't even win your class, and you've got 4 clients, dude. You still need to train. Like, you would need to master yourself before you start trying to help other people do the same thing. That's the business train, I guess, aspect of it all. That kind of irks me. Is like, dude, like congratulations. It takes a lot to go on stage. We're all proud of you, but like, calm down. Like, there's levels, and I'm not trying to discourage anyone, but it's just like you don't have any place to do that. So, in a certain degree, I think it does. But for the real ones who want to be the best, like, when you see them, when you come across them, when you meet them backstage, it's a different energy, it's a different vibe. You know right off the bat, as soon as you talk to them, as soon as you see them.
Mhm.
So I think that's always going to be there, and it's going to, it dilutes everything a little bit, but I don't think it hurts the sport. It helps you see the ones that belong there a little bit easier because there's so many pretenders.
Okay. And I was about to say, I don't know, I don't really speak about. Well, people know that I competed in the NPC starting off, and I'm not gonna lie. Like when I competed at NPC, and then I went to my first OCB show, I had a certain level of confidence knowing that it's a level playing field. I competed against guys 20 pounds bigger than me, 30 pounds bigger than me, and when I stepped on the OCB stage, I was like, oh, I turned into being the biggest guy on stage, right? So with you accomplishing the prestigious IFBB Pro card, going to nationals and winning a show or placing to get your card, when you came back to the OCB, did you have like a certain level of confidence, like not necessarily a cockiness saying I could just win everything, but did you have a certain level of confidence, like, hey, if I could beat guys on gear, then I know I can like at least do really well or dominate over here?
No, because unfortunately, I'm not built that way. I never see myself as like a dominant force. Everyone's competition. I don't care how weak you think you are. I don't let my guard down. I treat everyone with the same like I treat everyone like they're a Yorton competitor. Um, Also, I knew what I was getting myself into watching guys in the OCB, seeing how good they were. I knew it was going to be push. I knew it wasn't going to be like I'm going to come in and just wipe the floor at everybody. My thing was I needed to come in and I needed to be able to make a strong start by winning my pro card to start a new foundation for when I met you, because when I won my pro card, that level of physique would have been laughed off stage next to you. I never would have made it to you in the finals of the presidential. I never would have made it. So coming to the OCB made me grow as a competitor because I had to change how I did everything. I had to rework my nutrition. I had to change my training a little bit. But the big part was the nutritional aspect and how I went about just peaking and presenting a physique that deserved to be.
And I got a follow up for that. So, I guess the follow up question to that is when you go from competing in the NPC, it's almost like everybody is against you. Like you're not expected to win when you're in the NPC. So, how did your mindset shift to competing in the OCB? And like you said, you were very knowledgeable. You did your research. You knew who the top guys were. To not expecting to win, but to shift your mindset to, hey, over here, I got to figure out how to win.
I think I have a really good ability of going back to square one and starting over. And like that's what I had to do. I had to almost forget everything that I knew and start back from the ground up and go, okay, this is the level of expectation in the OCB. And right now I don't represent that at all. You know, I won my pro card. I was good enough to do that, but as anyone knows, the step on stage as an amateur and the step on stage as a pro is two very different things. And if you want to stand out, you I try to do my best to do my research. That's one thing that I really love about the OCB is the shows are online to watch. So I'm doing cardio and elliptical and I'm watching shows nonstop. I'm watching you win the Yorton. I'm watching you win your second Yorton. I'm watching every pro show that I can get my hands on. I'm watching the amateur presidential because the pro show was never uploaded. Then I'm watching the shows around it to see if any of those guys show up that I can kind of like compare and see how I need to pose, how I need to present myself. So really becoming a student again and uh, forgetting, trying to unlearn what I learned in the NPC.
Okay. Let's change gears here. we had David Jones on one of Eric's client, and he came up with this next play mentality. You did no gear earlier this year, and then you went on to Florida Pro and you won Open and Masters. Um, so what was your mindset after no gear? Obviously, you didn't place where you wanted to place. So what was your mindset?
I need to man up. I need to do what I preach, which is, don't be afraid to change, ask for help. Don't be stubborn, throw your ego aside. And if you want to be a real winner, that means you got to do things that are maybe uncomfortable for you or out of the realm that you would normally do. And that was to accept help from others. And that's what led me to David and Team Nonstop. Uh, when you're solo for so long, it's it's almost easier because if you lose, it's on you. There's no pressure. It's like, oh, I'll get it next time. It's all on me. I own it. I don't blame anyone else. But the moment I signed up with them, there was this energy of I can't let his organization down. He breed winners. So I didn't want to let him down, which in turn made me better. Uh, I didn't want to. It's one thing to make a mistake, right? I made a mistake at the no gear. It's another thing to continue that mistake. So this is what I did wrong here at the no gear. I got 2 weeks to make changes. I know I need to make them. It's on me to make them. If I make them and they don't work, then at least I attempted. But if I go in doing the same thing, well, I'm an idiot and I deserve, any flack I get. I just deserve like, the poor placing that I get. So just throwing my ego aside and surrendering to the fact that I'm missing something that pushed me over the edge, and that's what Team Nonstop helped me do.
Okay, so how did that relationship even happen? Was it something after no you was like, yo, David, I need your help? Or did he approach you and say, hey, I can take you to the next level? How did that relationship happen?
Well, Team Nonstop is freaking everywhere. They're at every show. So, there was always a mutual rapport backstage at show, saying hi, what's up, this stuff. And, after the double down, he was like, hey, maybe we should talk sometime soon. I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And I kind of like still in my own head, I could do it on my own. And
Yeah.
then after the note, he was like, hey, dude, we should talk. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So, so we talked for like 2 hours one day. And, I sat on it overnight because another coach had reached out to me as well that I thought had a similar approach, but David ended up winning, and I signed up the week before the Florida Pro, and
Yeah.
essentially I was just like, dude, it's not time. I don't know what you can really do. He's like, no, this is exactly what we're gonna do. Bah, 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 boom. You need to come see me. Let's go, and here we are.
Nice. I like that.
All right. So just from experience of even coaching athletes myself, usually when you deal with someone who's been self-coached for so long, those are usually the hardest people to work with. So how easy
That's
was
what
it
they
for
say.
you to say, here, take the steering wheel and drive and let me just be passenger? How was that hard for you to do, or was it easy for you to do?
The short answer is it was very easy, and that's only because once I sat on it, the rest of that day after we talked, the more it felt right. And once it felt right, it was easy to just go, here you go. And once we started doing it, I was like, what the heck? Why haven't I been doing this whole time? I just shut up and eat when you tell me to eat and do this. It's so easy. I don't have to second guess myself constantly. This is the game plan. And, of course, with any game plan for any peak, there's always going to be hiccups. You got to make adjustments. no peak week goes perfectly, right? But just knowing that I had extra guidance and I didn't have that pressure on myself anymore. It was night and day uh going through the first show with him. So I don't regret anything.
You good? You got to follow up? All right, let's get into Roy the person. Roy the person.
Oh,
So I done a little bit of research via your Instagram. You're a plant dad.
okay.
I see you like planting. You like your plants and flowers and stuff.
I like my
And you're a
flowers.
big anime guy. So how has anime helped you through bodybuilding or even through life, man?
So as lame as it sounds, I guess I'm like a hopeless romantic for good storytelling and underdogs prevailing and just like all around justice. I grew up watching Hercules, the Legendary Journeys, just all the most good animes are about overcoming struggle. And uh for me, as someone that's always been a small guy who always thought less of himself, anime was a good focusing tool to cultivate my own confidence and strength, and then also help others with that. Because once you're okay with yourself, then I can help others hopefully be okay with themselves. So, goats like Dragon Ball Z, will always be near to my heart because that was the one of the first, you know, things I ever saw that just I don't know, sum up you know, what it means to come through diversity. I mean, not diversity, but what am I trying to say? What's the word? Fuck, I'm blanking.
Adversity.
Adversity.
Adversity. Thank you. So, yeah, anime is awesome. Well, cartoons, comics, all of it. It's anything that's about the human struggle and coming out a better person or a changed person. I'm for. It's not always about the muscle. You know, mentally stronger as well as equally as important.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty cool because I've seen you. Like I said, I think I've seen you what 2 or 3 times this year, um, and you happen to throw a little anime pose in your individual routine. So we know anime is a big part of who Roy is.
Yes, sir.
So I would say I did my research, but I did my research. So um, there's also a thing that you have, like you have. It looks like you draw, right? You draw comics or something along the lines of that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
besides the obvious, I don't know if y'all ever saw those TikToks where it was like, besides the obvious, what would you change, right? But besides the obvious, what does freckle power mean? Where did that resonate from? Like, what is freckle power?
So freckle power is man, this is freckle power is taking my biggest insecurity and making it my strength. So I'm growing up, I was where I lived, I grew up military brat. Everywhere I lived, I was the one who looked like me. So all over the world, Germany, Japan, other states. If there was either it was always me and one other black person, and it was hard not feeling like you belong to any particular group because uh unfortunately black people would say I was white and white people would let me know I'm not white. So uh I grew up not liking my freckles because they were always an instant uh, symbol of that I stood out and that always put a target on my back. It was never in a positive light. So freckle power is me as I've grown and matured, learning that the things that you think hold you back are your biggest strengths, and to love who you are, and always believe yourself. So freckle power is about taking things that you might not necessarily like about yourself and making that your strength. And again, that when I say it out loud, that goes back to Dragon Ball Z. I go all day, but yeah, it's really about the pain I grew up with and making it my strength.
Nah, that's really good, man. I'm glad you was able to share that. Because I know some people that's in your similar situation, like they're biracial. So black people say, "Hey, you're not black enough," and then the other side, the white people, like, "You're not one of us." You know what I'm saying? So it's cool, and I'm glad you were able to find that balance or whatever the case may be. Um, so let's talk about the future. And when I say the future, I mean this coming Saturday.
Yes.
You're about to venture down a road.
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
let you tell it. I'm not gonna say it, but let's just talk about the
All
road
right.
that you're about to venture down this Saturday at the Hall of Fame.
First of all, hold on. First of all,
Listen, this road
how
has
are
been
hold on, Roy? Can I say some one thing? Jamal, how are you going to be like, let's talk about this weekend, but I ain't going to say nothing? How you going to do that? Like, what? All right, Roy, I'm sorry. I just had to get out. I just had to say something.
well. I'm trying to follow your footprints. I'm growing the hair out. I ain't got the beard, but I'm gonna put on the small shorts and do my classic debut. The Hall of Fame is gonna be a life benchmark for me because again, this whole year is about facing my challenge, facing my fears, uh, taking the challenge head on, going to where the competition is, doing what I don't think I can do, and doing a classic show is another phase in my growth personally. So I never in a million years would have thought I was in a position to do this. So I'm gonna go out there and hopefully do a two-time champ proud and not embarrass myself and make have some fun and hopefully win the show because I'm going in there to win.
So, have you thought about if you do win Hall of Fame in Classic Physique? Have you thought about what others might say with you moving forward? Because I know you got other men's physique shows lined up this year. So, are you worried about what they can possibly play? Like, we can't unsee you in Classic now. So, yeah, guy.
Yeah, I know. I've thought about that a lot, and I hope that isn't the case because men's physique's in my heart, and I want to hold that your trophy in first place. So, but I got to cross that bridge when it comes. Hopefully, I don't get typecast, but we'll see how it goes. If classic is something that is in my future, I'm down to explore it. But right now, it's about checking that off the list and continue on the path that I want to be the Orton men's physique champ.
Okay, so you, like Jamal said, you're going to do classic, and for some people, that's a big leap, right? I think me and Jamal had a whole I think we had a whole episode about, what division is right for you, when to switch divisions, when to go to a whole nother division. And then there's a such thing as we call tweeners, like hybrid or hybrids, like that can do both. Um, And I think the one thing about men's physique, we saw a lot of people prematurely jump to classic and didn't really look like they fit the mold of classic. So what did you do? Because a lot of people thought when I competed against Jamal back in, I think it was 2021, that I just randomly made that decision. But I knew I was going to do a classic show, then a men's physique show that whole year. So I was training legs like crazy. It was new to everybody, but I would premeditated the whole thing the year before. So what was your thought process going into this year? Like, I'm going to do a classic show. So what things did you do to prepare for that?
I'm essentially what you did. So after I did Masters Nationals, um, as I'm reverse weighting, I'm just hammering legs. I'm putting everything. I'm trying to build hamstrings and quads, and these stubborn calves. Just the goal was to not a men's physique guy in classic shorts. You know what I mean? So I want to fit the mold. I took this 100% seriously. My biggest fear, honestly, was getting my legs too big, and then I look goofy in short and board shorts. So, like a couple, I shorts that I had bought for this year, I couldn't wear them because I had a choke. I was choking them to death. I couldn't. They were tight. So that was a real big concern that I was getting my legs too big. So then I was like trying to dial back a little bit, and it's almost like you can't have one foot in each palm kind of thing. Is either if you want to fit the mold, you kind of got to go for it. And I did not hold back in my leg training. I tried to push it as hard as I could. I tried to keep the intensity higher than I ever thought I ever could. And I really tried to give it my all.
You good? If your posing is bad Saturday, Roy, I'm literally going to people elbow you while you're on
Listen,
stage. I'm literally going to run on
deserve it.
stage and. All right, E, you got another question or wrap it up with top five?
So I'm gonna ask my question. So I have heard you say you have a bucket list. You have a check your year of faith. I'm gonna just say I'm not gonna say the year of fear. We're gonna say it's the year of faith. Like you're testing your faith in every single last one of these buckets, right? So you gave us two big goals, but do you have three other things that you can give us? Because I think you said you wanna hoist that men's physique, Yorton. That's you want to hoist one of those things up.
Oh yeah, I want to be the same son as you two. I'm just trying to get to the plan right now. You know what I mean?
But I guess the question I want to ask you, outside of competing in classic, and you can add the Yorton to this question if that's one of your big goals. But I want three of your top three goals that you're going after this year that you believe that you can go after and accomplish.
Three big goals this year. Well, I mean, the Yorton is one of them. Just continue my mantra of not backing down from any challenge. You know what I mean? Like I want to be wherever the best guys are, win or lose. And it's not really a goal because I don't see it ever changing, but just always being me. Hopefully being a good presence around other people, being, a positive light, being fun to be around, just not being a bummer. There's enough guys like that out there. Like,
All right. Eric usually do the top five. I'm going to do the top five today. All right. Give me your top five anime characters.
All right. My boy Krillin. All right. Ultimate underdog. Right hand man to the number one. All right. He never quits. Even if he's scared, he never gives up. He always fights to the end. All right. This is number two. It's going to throw everyone off. It's a Pokemon. It's Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto is Ash's road dog. He did him dirty, but Pidgeotto is my favorite Pokemon, and he's always there for Ash. He can fly. He's awesome. Yeah, that's my boy. Number 3 is going to be Vegeta, and Vegeta's special because I think either you love Vegeta or you don't, but Vegeta is the most human of any character because Vegeta is someone who has this been thrusted greatness upon him, but he's constantly overshadowed. He constantly has to grind and work harder to be the best version of him. Some of the best quotes and lines in the entire Dragon Ball series monologues have come from him. I think Vegeta is the most real, balanced character in Dragon Ball, if not anime. I'm throwing that out there. Number 4, I'm gonna put Kagome from Inuyasha because she's a sleeper pick. She's this normal girl in a fantasy Japanese world with demons and monsters, and she doesn't take anyone's crap. And she speaks from the heart, and she she does her thing. Number 5 is going to be Naruto. Naruto never stops believing in himself and who he is and the power of friendship, and the Rasengan's pretty
Okay, okay. And we like the breakdown. You gave us a breakdown for every single last person. So
for any nerds out there that watch this and want to pry me, hear me out first. You know what I mean?
but I definitely want to wrap the episode, but I definitely want to also I tell people the one thing about me, especially and the thing about this show is connecting athletes and actually giving athletes a spotlight. And like I said, this past 2 weekends ago, I walked straight up to you. I was like, "Hey, Roy," because like I said, I seen you compete so many times, and I was looking. I was like, "Where's Roy?" And I think he's in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom. I was like, "All right, cool." But I was like, as soon as you came out the bathroom, I wanted to congratulate you first because I seen the journey from getting third, and then I seen the frustration. I think we've seen moments of frustration, maybe just a little bit like I'm right here, but I'm waiting to finally get over that hump. And when you did it, I wanted to be the first to congratulate you, not only from a person who is coaching against you, but also from a fellow competitor who knows how hard it is to get a pro win, right? Everyone doesn't get a pro win. And I think the thing I preach about bodybuilding is success isn't linear. Like you can win a show today and then get dead last the next week. So I just want to give you your flowers on here just to make sure that you know that there's other athletes who are fully aware of what you're capable of, and they're definitely watching out for you this year. But you look absolutely phenomenal at Florida
Pro. Thank you, and I'm going to say thank you for doing that because it meant the world to me. And I didn't realize you've been at just about every show I've done. Every show, if not competing, coaching someone. I had to think about those. Outside of my, amateur show, you've been at every show. I competed against you at Presidential, Yorton. You were coaching Jones at Nationals. Then
I wasn't at Double Down, but I seen it.
That's the only one. You weren't at Double Down, but then you were at No Gear in Florida. So yeah, I mean, you are as much as part of my journey as myself. You've witnessed it, good and bad. So it meant the world that you said it. So thank you.
No problem. And lastly, I want to say, can you tell the
photography is really awesome.
You said
I just
Jamal?
want to throw that up there. Let him know. Yeah, Jamal. I'm the little brother, and I'm okay with that.
Uh-oh.
You lucky you said something nice about me because the glaze session that you and Eric just had, it was crazy.
See, this is why we don't bring other classic. See, Jamal can talk nice to you because you're kind of men's physique. You're not really classic. We don't bring other classic guys on.
I know. He's so ruthless. He's so ruthless. Oh my God. Classic boys. I'm not ready.
Well, Roy, let them know where they can
Oh.
find you at, please.
You can find me at Roy's Your Boy on Instagram. That's all I got. And catch me on stage.
All right, y'all. And with
Easy
that,
enough.
y'all, we're gonna wrap. But
I
we
don't
appreciate
know.
you for coming.
Yeah.
But we appreciate
Thank
you
you
for
so
coming
much
on.
for having me on. It's been an honor.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. But until next time, y'all.
Yeah,
Peace.
for real.
Peace.